Dr. Kiboro, the chair of NMG, the Nation Media Group, Nadia Ahmed, CAS, Ministry of ICT, Innovation, and Youth Affairs, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners, Bimal Kantaria, MD, Elgon, Kenya, Ms. Anna Mutarati, the country representative of the UN Women, fellow Kenyans, good morning. Simulikula breakfast, good morning. Now, I want to greet you in the way we do it in the NCIC. When I say Amani, you say Milele. When I say Milele, you say Amani. Amani, Milele, Amani, Milele. Very good. I don't know what is happening. I think when you stand here, you feel people say, Amani. You don't like the peace that we want to have in Kenya to be forever. Amani, Milele, asanteni sana. First of all, I really wanted to start by welcoming the remarks of Chairman Kobia when he said that henceforth NMG will black out inter alia hate mongers. That is the best news I've heard this morning, Bwana Kobia. Asante sana. One morning I had breakfast with the Kenya Editors Guild, and I made that call. And I said, why do you in the media give so much space and so much emphasis on the negative things that leaders and especially politicians are involved in? I said, can't you black them out? So today, I've heard this from none other than Dr. Kobia himself, and I wanted to assure you, sir, that you have the most enthusiastic partner in NCIC in what you have said, and we'll work together with you in this partnership in the run-up to the elections. Thank you very much. Secondly, let me congratulate the NMG for this great initiative. I'm really pleased that the largest media house here has undertaken this initiative. 45 years ago, I was fresh from college. I was employed by NCCK, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, as a secretary to the Department of Church and Society. At that time, the Deputy General Secretary was the late Ambassador Bethwell Kiplagat, who I'm sure is known to many of you here. And like General Apande, they worked very closely together, as far as I know. And with Ambassador Kiplagat, we started what was called the Kenya We Want. And for many years, this continued, and the Kenya We Want became one of those processes that I would say captured the imagination of Kenyans. This was, of course, at a time where we felt we really needed to build a nation with a legal framework that was safe and was safeguarding the Kenyans. It was also clear then that we needed a country that was developing in leaps and bounds. Now, the answer to a better Kenya was delivered, in my view, at least in 4 successive and monumental leaps. The first one was the repeal of Section 2A in our Constitution in 1991, which brought about multi-party democracy, which brought phase 1 of the Kenya we want. Secondly, was the removal of the Kano government from power, and with it, the introduction of a free press and freedom of speech, and the end of detentions without a trial. Following this monumental shift, again, the third is in 2010, we had the new constitution, which has been referred to here by 2 previous speakers. And this cemented the gains so far, but introduced many great ideas such as devolution and the checks and balances on the power we granted to politicians. And the fourth one, I would say, I'm sure you will agree with me, that the development and the legal framework within which we exist today is slowly becoming and making the Kenya we want. Now, 3 years ago, I was invited to address a seminar at Hekima University College on the topic, the Kenya we want. It was in Swahili, Kenya ni itakayo. I obliged, but I felt that I needed to change the topic. Instead of the Kenya we want, I said I will speak on the Kenyan we want, arguing that the Kenya Constitution 2010 clearly has given us the Kenya we want. So I said 45 years later, after I was involved in initiating the Kenya we want, and after this constitution, really the elephant in the room is the Kenyan we want. The issue remains that the Kenyan in Kenya has not changed much. I'll give you an example. If you look at how Kenyans drive on the superhighway, especially this Thika superhighway, or even across the superhighways in other places, you realize that the road has changed, but the Kenyan driver mentality has not changed. Slow drivers will dominate the right side of the road in spite of the reminder at every few kilometers that keep left unless overtaking. And really, when you drive there, you see a huge truck. You see a big bus, matatu. They dominate the right side of the road. And you wonder now, those who are used to this, and the signs are very clear. So Kenya has changed, has become very much the Kenya we want, but the Kenyan we want is yet to materialize. We have good laws, good roads, a good country, but we have, by and large, citizens who don't care, who don't know, and don't care to know. Don't we find it ironic that after the lives lost in Sachakawa, that we'll still have Kenyans who will go and siphon petrol from petrol tankers caught in an accident? And we have seen how many Kenyans we have lost because Kenyans rush to siphon petrol. Now, therefore, the more challenging question today, to me, is the character of the Kenyan we want. What are the values and the virtues the Kenyan we want would imbibe? Do we have the Article 10 Kenyans, or are we all seemingly stuck in goon mode, in hooliganism, perpetual anger, and dislike of self and the state? And I just wanted to emphasize this a little bit more and say that the Article 10 on values and ethos and the Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity are yet to be internalized by Kenyans. And that is why this initiative is so critical, because it is talking of the Kenyan we want. The values and work ethic that we should have has yet to be embraced by majority of Kenyans. Patriotism is a thing we don't even think of finding in a Kenyan. Very often we talk of Ethiopia, we talk of Tanzania as those neighboring countries who have persons who are patriots. It is this Kenyan that then elects another Kenyan whose virtues match their own to office. It is a sad state of affairs since we end up with leaders that reflect our society. Ask yourself, if a normal Kenyan will steal from an accident victim, how do we expect that Kenyan, when elected, not to steal from the state? We therefore no longer need laws, for we have plenty of them. We don't need to change our development plans, for indeed our trajectory is correct. The thing Kenya needs to adjust is her people and their ethos and their values. It is because of this that NCIC has come up with the wall of shame and the wall of fame that they have referred to. The wall of shame is where we are listing Kenyans who are involved in hate mongering, and there have been quite a number of them. This is actually quite a long list. But more importantly, we have the list of fame. This is to encourage good leadership and good citizenship. So far, we have given this merit to leaders who have spearheaded peace and shunned hate speech, have shunned clanism and tribalism. There are two politicians we have on our list of fame that I wanted to refer to. One is Honorable Abdul Karim Osman, the MP of Fafi constituency in Garissa. Honorable Osman was addressing his followers, and they reached a time when they started encouraging him to condemn his opponent. Honorable Abdul Karim said to them, "My opponent is not my enemy. I'm not going to condemn him, even if it means you will not vote for me in 2022. I am not going to condemn him." That is the Kenyan leader we want. The second one on the list of fame is Honorable Kadhambi, the MP for Joro. Honorable Kadhambi is from Meru. She is an MP of Joro in Nakuru County. And she also has demonstrated this patriotic character of not encouraging ethnicism or discrimination on the basis of ethnicity. So Honorable Kadhambi is also on our list of fame. There is a third one that I'm still looking for, and I think the nation will help me to get this one. I think it's about 2020. I was driving to Meru, and when I reached Embu, you know, for whatever reason, I read about this waitress in a small restaurant in Embu who found that a lady who had been taking breakfast there had forgotten her handbag. She went, took the handbag, and wanted to know, and opened it, and indeed she found the telephone number of the lady. But then in the bag was 300,000 shillings. She closed the bag, called this lady, and the following day, the lady came back. She just could not believe it. Is there still a Kenyan of this kind of integrity? This waitress deserves to be on the list of fame. And that story was carried by the nation. If you can find it, we will put her on the list of fame. I don't have to ask you to help me to get those to put on the list of shame. We have many of them, and they continue to increase. But the kind of leaders we need, the kind of Kenyan we want are these that I have mentioned. Leaders who refuse to take advantage of hate and division, and instead decide to lead from the front instead of doing the easy thing and letting the tail wag the dog. Leadership in this nation must begin to be on values, and that is what will give our people hope, and especially the young people, and will salvage the nation from the chains of corruption, ethnic animosity and violence, and from poverty. An honest and moral nation is easier to trade, is easier to do business in, is easier to invest, and actually is easier to run and to govern. Success is guaranteed if the Kenyan and can develop ethics just the same way as the country is developing. In actual fact, if we had the Kenyans we want, we would not be worried about the elections in August because the Kenyans at IEBC would count well. If we had the kind of Kenyans we want, we will be able to address the trust deficit in this country because that is part of the problem that we have in Kenya. Mutual distrust. People do not trust the state don't trust the people, one community does not trust the other, and it is because of the mistrust of institutions especially that people will dispute the results announced by IEBC. Because if we trusted it fully, then we wouldn't contest the results. It is because of this, my dear friends, that NCIC has come up with this booklet that I will give a number of copies with you on. This one on a violence-free 2022 Elections Bila Norma Roadmap. In this Elections Bila Norma, we would want, therefore, to join hands with the Nation Media Group in two areas. One, we are preparing a documentary on hate speech. And we would like this documentary to be shown to Kenyans, and I would want to believe that this initiative can help us with that. The second one, we are preparing a national symposium on hate speech jointly with the UN. And because the UN also, and in fact the UN would be launching the global program on hate speech here in Nairobi in March, I believe in March. So we would like to invite you to join hands with us, just as we'll join hands with you in shunning those that continue with hate mongering. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let me say that the essence of what I'm saying is just like a good meal is prepared based on physical ingredients and an intangible ingredient called love, so then should Kenya be. How can we prepare this meal with those physical ingredients, but with the intangible ingredients of love, as it was said here a while ago, that then we can prepare it with love. We have all the legal and the developmental framework to succeed. All we need now is to have a citizen who is ethical and who is patriotic. With that, Kenya would not only be peaceful, but will enjoy a better quality of life when it is developed. I go as far as to say, if we developed tolerance, if we developed patience, if we developed mutual trust and mutual respect, then the elections 2022 will be peaceful to the joy and the satisfaction of all Kenyans. Let's all join hands and join the media group in this process, because I believe this will lead us to the elections we want in August 2022. Thank you very much for listening to me. I think I will not be forgiven if I don't commit myself to something. That's what I was asked to do. And I want to say that I do commit myself to do all that it will take the NCIC to have a peaceful electoral process before, during, and after August 9th this year. Thank you very much, and God bless you.